I am Paul Murphy, and I am the stage director for Music Man.
I'm Kathryn Denney, and I'm the music director for Music Man.
And I can tell you a little bit about, I think this is maybe my 6th show I've directed here, and I've been in a bunch of productions on stage as well. And I've directed locally at Arlington, Friends, and Concord Players, and I'm really excited to be doing Music Man here with the Concord Players.
I have never been the music director here, but I was on stage for Sound of Music a few years ago, and I've been in the Concord Band and the Concord Orchestra as a French horn player. Most of what I do now is music directing for various companies around Massachusetts.
Well, that's actually an interesting story. So prior, I was selected as the director, and it was suggested that Kathryn and I would be a good match. So we met, we hit it off really well, and then coincidentally, this summer, I tried out for a production of Pippin with a Common Thread Theater in Framingham.
And guess who's the music director? So we got to work together in this capacity that I directed him.
And it was pretty clear we're going to work well together.
Absolutely, it was so much fun, and I feel like we get along really well. We have similar visions. So what is your vision?
Yeah, great question. So this is kind of a classic American musical. I have always liked this story. I mean, the songs are well known. Till There Was You, 76 Trombones, the Wells Fargo Wagon. I really love that song. And the story is classic. You know, it's about a small town where things are going, I would say, okay, but they're not going great. And what this show does is it gives people a chance to get to great, to get their hopes and their aspirations kind of met when this con man, of all things, comes to town and shakes it all up.
And I think shaking it all up is really an important thing that has, a lot of these older musicals, the classics, haven't aged as well. And in our contemporary society, there's some issues that we really have to process if a group is going to put on an older show that has different values than we have now. And I feel as if the themes of this show are just perfect for where we are right now, because here comes an outsider to a community that is fine, they're okay, and he helps them to think differently, and he effectively galvanizes a community that has been really kind of at odds with each other, and helps them to see that when they all work together on one project, they can form, and music really kind of brings them together. So I feel like it's a very contemporary story.
And I think also in the process, what's so interesting is he changes. I mean, he has no idea that he's going to come to town and his heart is going to be touched. His heart is going to be shifted. So that's also, I think, a surprise for him, as well as the audience is watching the show.
Yeah, the characters are really multidimensional. I think that all of them have growth as the community is growing. You also see Marion kind of get out of her discomfort with her community, and you see Harold sort of letting go his pretense because he realizes his humanity. You also sort of see the mother, Marion's mother, who is an immigrant, and she's been trying to fit into this community. She finds a reason to really firm her roots in Iowa and feel as a part of this important community.
One of my favorite moments in this show is when Marion sings Till There Was You. And it is about, her falling for somebody, but it goes deeper. It's about her own discovery to have that capacity. And it's almost not, there's no condition to that. That's her own internal moment, her own internal discovery, and she's not putting a condition on it. So there are so many great moments in the show. And one other thing that I really like about the show is we have a range of ages. I mean,
Right.
from what, 8 or
Mhm.
9-year-old all the way up into 70-year-olds. So there's so many great opportunities for people to be a part of this community.
Yeah, it can really be intergenerational, and it really has to be.
Right.
With the children. And, I also think that Marion tried so hard to hate Harold, and she just learned about herself and about her community that he was exactly what they needed.
Right.
Interesting.
I think one thing that's really important to stress is we have got an all-star production crew. I mean, you're seeing 2 of us today, but Brad Robinson is the choreographer. We've got 2 amazing, Corinne Kinsman and Kathy Legou are our producers. And then you were telling me earlier you have a personal connection to this show.
So I directed the Music Man. I was music director a couple of years ago, and then I had the opportunity to play Marion, and it was just so much fun because she's the music teacher, she's the librarian, but she's really kind of the soul-searching, discontented person who needs to find her comfort in her community and to fit in to a group that she really feels like an outsider. So I feel as if that's a very...
Yeah, that's great. And they don't exactly welcome her.
No, because she's different. And
She's different.
And it just shows how people cannot, it's really difficult to accept someone who is different.
Right.
And it's so satisfying when you do, when you can realize how important that is.
Right. I mean, I think the characters feel like they're kind of in a box. And the box, as we said earlier, is okay, but it's limiting.
Right. We're all stubborn. We're all Iowa people, and we can be more than that.
Right.
We can be a community.
Right.